We had Rosella Ann with us at the Emirates. Sorry, no, the Arsenal Stadium. You're not allowed to call it the Emirates when it's Champions Cup on Sunday, and it was pouring down with rain. Like, I know you lot are used to running around in your shirts and your shorts, but not standing still. And she was like, I got out the hand warmers and everything. So I think it's delayed from that. It's a bit cold. Did you watch it, you two?
I did.
Yeah.
Not all of the game, but some of it.
Talk about it a bit later. But what I loved was, and I wanted to go and have a go. Did you see all the Corinthians fans in when they were like dancing side to side? I just thought, if we could have
so good.
Yeah, we need that level of like ultras. I mean, I don't know what we'd be dancing like, but it just changed it, didn't it?
Look really good, to be fair.
Yeah.
Even in that weather.
Well, that was the best thing about it. You just keep dry just by body warmth. Anyway, have you had a lovely week, both of you?
Yeah. My week wasn't lovely if we're talking about Sunday, but my Monday and Tuesday have been nice.
What did you just bend down to pick up?
Oh, my phone was like slipping off, so I just put it back to safety.
I need to know all these things. I was watching an interview with Liz Boddy, who plays with you at Newcastle. And she was saying that she fangirls a bit over when you ask her to do stuff. She said she was like doing something in the midfield and you will say, no, do this. And she's like, yes, Jordan. Yes, Jordan.
No, she's such a lovely girl. She has so much potential as well. But yeah, she does listen to me actually. You know, that doesn't always happen with everyone. So no, she's really nice, and yeah, I think she's one to watch for the future.
What did you just say? I wasn't listening. All right.
Is that hat?
Oh, no. I'll keep it under it. It's matching my face at the moment. All right, this is Pitch to Pod with WSL legends. Nikita always listens to me, Parris, and Jordan. Have you seen... I was about to say, have I seen the size of her ears? But you've got very small ears, Jordan Nobbs. Every week you do, perfectly formed. They bring you topics straight from the pitch to this podcast as we discuss the biggest talking points of the world of football, the WSL and beyond. This week, no city limits. First Champions Cup winners, you'll never sing that. And it's cold outside, shut that window. Right. Let's start at the top with your old team, Nikita. Manchester City 5-1 winners over Chelsea. A Caroline hat-trick. First back-to-back defeats for Chelsea in the WSL since 2015. City 11 points clear at the top. So a simple one, this one. What have City done, both of you? And what did they do? And where are we? Are we partying like it's 2016? It's won already. Off you go.
Well, City were really, really good. Yeah, they play some great football, but the one thing they used against Chelsea for me was the pace of Lauren Hem, the pace of Caroline. You've got Bunny who can hold the ball up and bring others into play, and then Viv Medema who can find the passes, and through all their link-up play, their pace, they tore Chelsea's backline and they made them disjointed. And it's a really frustrating result for Chelsea because they'll be very disappointed to have back-to-back WSL defeats, and I just don't think in either game they really performed to the quality that they have in their squad. It's not. I don't believe the results in the games that they played against Arsenal and Manchester City are a reflection of the quality that they've got in the squad. But sometimes teams go through these moments, and I think obviously it's always like big news, big shocks when a 5-1 defeat is a big loss. But also having back-to-back defeats in 2015, I think it was. But at some point, it had to happen. Like, they're not invincible. Like, they're not going to always attain the heights that they have in the past. And the expectation of the fans, they need to just have a little bit more understanding that the WSL is a strong league. And I feel like the expectation is them for always just steamroll teams and steamroll the league and win all the trophies that they're within. Of course, that's the aim of the club, but I don't think it's always going to be realistic that they're going to achieve that. But the fact that they continue to grow and bring in numbers and invest is a sign that they know at some point other teams are going to catch up. which is normal in sport. And I think all of this Sonia Bonpastor out is crazy work for me. I think
What
that is
is
just
that?
ridiculous. No, it's stupid. I'm sorry, but when I see like the fans commenting or I see Saka, I think, what? For her to even have to justify why, first of all, the style of play is very different from Emma Hayes. And yeah, Emma Hayes had a, illustrious time at Chelsea and won many things. But at some point, even if Emma Hayes would have stayed on at Chelsea, other teams would have caught up. But I think it's really, really daft to keep saying Saka. She's just done the treble last year, no? That is like, whoa, you need to chill. Like, honestly, in my eyes, you need to chill. You do. It's crazy.
It's wild, isn't it? I mean, football's such, like we always say, it just like blinks and something changes. But yeah, to say that, I mean, if you're going a whole season and you're just seeing that the team aren't playing for her or all that, but yeah, to go against two of the best teams in the league, not nice. And no one's used to it with Chelsea, which is why I guess everyone will be like, "Oh, it'll be interesting how they bounce back from this." But in a good sense, to be fair, because they've not had to deal with that before. They've always bounced back during the game, haven't they? Scoring, winning games. But yeah, to say about Saka, I mean, we never know what goes on behind the scenes, but to come in after Emma Hayes had done such a good job and still do what she did, yeah, just seems wild after 2 games for fans to be saying that.
Yeah, it's for me. But they've actually been saying it for like a few months, and I'm just like, wow. Like, what is your expectation each and every year that you're just gonna steam the WSL by 6, 7 points?
Hmm.
You think like the Manchester Cities, the Arsenals, the London Cities are invested in these squads just for you to go, yeah, we're gonna give the league with 7 points ahead. No, it's not gonna work like that. And I just think you gotta stick by your club and keep turning up in the big games, make the crowd, make the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge against Arsenal a big spectacle, make it be the 12th man. Like, each and every club is growing in all different ways. You've got to find the new niche in your club, how you can help the players grow and have confidence on the pitch to go out and perform. But keep backing them. Keep backing them, because at times they are going to go through struggles. They're going to go through tough games. They're going to go through tough moments. It's not the time to be asking the manager to be wanting the manager to be sacked, though. No way.
They need to hire in the Corinthians fans. Get them in. Hire a fan. Those comments though from Sonia Bonpastor afterwards saying about squad not the same as last season. A lot of people talk about Chelsea being an example in terms of having depth in the squad. She essentially saying doesn't explain everything, but talking about squad depth. You're right, Nikita, to talk about you got to change something, right? Something would have to have changed under Emma Hayes. It's a bit like Arne Slot at Liverpool. You've got to make those changes. And when you rip off that old sticky plaster, it's going to hurt initially and nothing's going to settle. But if Emma Hayes had tried all as she had and not won the Champions League, then you've got to try a different route. And it's not a blooming exact science, is it? You could hire whoever you like as the best manager. Look at what's happened to Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. All these things that you can do, and it's never guaranteed. Do they, though, need more squad depth? Would you put any of it, George, down to that at the moment?
I think if it's coming from her, then clearly she has something that she needs. You wouldn't say that as a manager if you thought that you had it. I mean, obviously from the outside world, you're looking at their squad and you're still going, do you want much more? They're obviously talking about signing that forward. Sorry, I've forgotten who it was.
Nigerian international from PSG, Jennifer Echinini, and not happening according to Sky Sports at this time, at this moment. But yeah, PSG apparently have gone ending the talks.
Yeah, which is understandable for PSG because they're in a really tough spot in the French league and they don't want to continue to lose the best players mid-season. I think they're currently like 5th. Lyon are many points ahead of them. So yeah, they're not mid-season. They're not just going to easily give away the best players. But I think Chelsea's squad has enough depth for to continue to compete, especially this season. Whether they can close the gap on Manchester City now is very difficult. We did say in the last pod that if Manchester City took all the points against the teams that are in and around them, then yeah, it's very hard to close that gap against them. And I think they played and showed why they're at the top of the table. They were ruthless. And Carolyn was on fire, to be fair to her. She's a great player. She's been back from injury, couple of weeks. And yeah, performing the way she is really helpful for Manchester City, especially coming into the back end of the season. But I do think for me, Chelsea probably do need to go out and get a left back. I think Sandy Baltimore she's done really, really well. And as a forward thinking player to play left back or left wing back like she has, I think she's done fantastic over the last season and a half to do that. But naturally, I feel like she's much better higher up, whether that's the left wing position or in the midfield as a 10. So I think the one position that if I'm looking at that Chelsea squad, and I would say definitely a left back is needed. But they still have, I do still think they have a lot of quality. A lot of quality.
I still think, obviously, when I go off how they played against Arsenal, I still think she's still got a good squad on the pitch that probably haven't performed, or the outcomes haven't come out that they've wanted. So, like Keith said, sometimes that just happens. You change a lot of players. You have different formations. It doesn't always work every single year, and that's something they'll have to look at, obviously, because that's not where Chelsea want to be at. But yeah, I think regardless, that squad, you wouldn't want to be losing 5-1 to Man City. I'm sure they're frustrated at things that have happened in that game. But yeah, be interesting who they're looking at.
There's big old gaps, isn't there, when both their fullbacks sort of maraud forward that they're just not filling, and that's getting exploited by teams too. It's odd now because you're looking at it and thinking, and maybe we'll talk about Arsenal now, but with the momentum that Arsenal have got, if they were to get a result against Manchester City and they finish second, then still close in on Manchester City, for Arsenal potentially could finish out that top 3. And what does that do? Maybe that helps with a sort of a regroup like Manchester City have had.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think if they don't win the league, they'll be having a regroup anyway, because I think that's when you get to that elite level, your standards are, if you win it, you want to win it again, and you look at all them holes that maybe went wrong, or the manager naturally, she'll look at squad depth, or like Keith said, certain positions that maybe can they recruit and get players in on. But I mean, football changes very fast. You look at Arsenal, they lost 5-2 in the league to Villa and won the Champions League. Like, things can change very quickly, and you'd like to think that a team like Chelsea, they figure out how to come together and get back to winning ways. But yeah, I guess what's going to be interesting is like how they fight now, because they've probably not had that bit of media hype on the negative side. It's what they do now to mentally stay in it, and like you said, the top of the table can get tight, and it could go down to them crucial games against the head-to-heads, the top teams, that take you out of Champions League, which for any of those clubs, that is, yeah, not what they want.
No. But though, like you did say before, Manchester City, because they're not in Champions League, probably have had the season that they've had. We are also, in previous seasons, have had a lot of injuries. Which, to be fair, they still had at times in this season, if you look at the whole season to this point. But when things are just going right for you, in moments when they've needed the players back, they've come back. So it's like, yeah, it's just worked out for Manchester City this season. And I think let's not take anything away from the squad and what they've been able to do, because I still think at times in this season they've underperformed but still got the result. And that's a mark of a good squad.
Yeah, and then City able to bring in coffee when they needed her, and I mean we all need coffee, but just when they needed her in that moment. Yes, the dad jokes haven't finished from me. It's also one of those things. You mentioned it, Jordan, then about actually they've not felt that sort of pressure from the outside. But it's a complete contrast, isn't it? They've gone from being win this, everything's rosy, like it's amazing, it's brilliant, and then to that negativity, which hardly any of them will have. Those that have been at Chelsea for God knows how long won't know what that's like. So how you then as players, do you talk about it when you've got that moment? Are you all talking now about the sort of the race for the top and what's happening at Chelsea? Is it something players talk about?
I guess, yeah, I guess football can just be quite cruel. I think the more experience you have in football, you do learn to keep that noise out, because the people can love you when you're doing well, and you can have one bad game and they can say, God, get rid of her. It's easy like that. So I don't think I think it will be something they talk about to a certain extent, but it'll be the in-house stuff that's saying, we don't care about what other people are saying, we need to fix XYZ and improve from there. But yeah, you do talk about it naturally. It comes through, it whispers through the team. But I think, especially at Chelsea, they've got a lot of experience that have probably had that happen to either them individually or as a team before to look past it. But it is something new for them. It's something new for us, for that to happen.
I think also in previous seasons, Chelsea had moments where at pockets of time within the season, the media have been like, "Are they going to win the league?" In the Emma Hayes' last season, dropping points at Liverpool, all of this stuff. There was a lot of and ahhing on whether they could make up the goal difference that accumulated, and by the end of the season they did so. But I think the difference is this year is other teams are so much stronger, and the points are a lot larger in terms of 9-point differences is a big gap. We're not talking about goal difference. And it's like, as the games are now running down, can that gap be closed? It'll be very difficult. Now it's out of your hands. You need other teams to do you favours, and you've got to make sure that you by the end of the season you win every single game. And that's also a different type of pressure. More experienced players that they do have in the squad, and they've got a lot of quality and a hell of a lot of experience, will be still saying to that squad, just take it game by game. Girls, let's just take it game by game, because football's a funny old game. It's a funny old game, and you just don't know what's going to happen from one game to the next. So I think their mentality now will definitely be to stay as tight-knit as they can, and show within the performances going forward that they're the squad that everyone should be looking out for.
This is Pitch to Pod with Nikita. My old team are winning the league. Parris and Jordan, my old team, are champions of the world. Nobbs, clearly, you both taught them everything they know. Let's chat Arsenal winning the first ever FIFA Champions Cup. Personally, I loved it. It was everything you want in football. It was hammering it down with rain. It was floodlights. There was a penalty. There was extra time. It felt like it would never end. It was beautiful. But in the same way you've sort of asked, what have City done? This seems like, Jordan, an Arsenal side changed, transformed. Mariano Caldente said it was a bit sticky at the start of the year and they've built this momentum. But it's handy because now Arsenal play Manchester City on Sky, midday Sunday. So what have Arsenal done and how will these two clash, do you think?
Good teams just find a way.
Yeah.
You find a way to bring it back, whether that's with individual brilliance or just that winner mentality. We all know that you can, until that final game of the season, you keep going. And I think Arsenal have just showed they went through that little time where you were thinking, oh, what's going on here? And I think naturally the Champions League kind of gave them that kick and that excitement to go again. But yeah, these little moments of winning trophies, like you said, I thought it was brilliant. I thought to go to extra time and everything, I think was perfect for it. But yeah, they just seem like they look like mentally, and I think going forward a little bit, like they're trying to do the right things again. I think before that looked like it wasn't quite clicking, or maybe it was too much possession. I think that's changed a lot. But yeah, I think there's something in the air at Arsenal that has changed, and I think sometimes that's just the mentality and the resilience to not let that pressure and that heat take over. You just go back to what you know best, the Arsenal way, and that's what it gets you through it. It wins you games.
Yeah, I think, they're a very resilient bunch. They've went through, yeah, like Mariona clearly said, a very, not a tough time, but a sticky time at the start of the season. I think expectation was also very high from everyone outside of Arsenal because of the Champions League. It's a massive trophy that they did win. And so everyone thought, okay, here's Arsenal, they're going to kick on to new heights in the league and really go on to dominate. Because I think in terms of Arsenal as a club, they've dominated every other space in terms of marketing, fandom. Like, as a club, they've really grown, and I think it's fantastic to see. And winning another trophy it just helps with confidence within the club and shows the girls that they are a winning team and that they can do it on a consistent basis. I think Arsenal are a great cup team. I will say that. I think in competition, when it comes down to it, like Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, now the Champions Cup, I think they're a really good team. I think the only time they struggle is probably in the league. They struggle with a bit of consistency, but when it really matters in games, like knockout games, they deliver as a team, I think. And I think now they'll want to harness that and bring it into the league and get more consistency in terms of that. But like we've seen before with other teams and in moments, it's not so easy in the WSL. But that's one space I think they'll definitely want to get better in and grow in terms of winning another WSL. But to win a trophy mid-season will only give them confidence, they're in and around the top 3. So going forward, they'll be looking, to really progress.
Arsenal Man City will be feisty. That will be a feisty game. They're big points. If City get points there, they're done and dusted. But
I agree.
that will be two teams that are a bit high on confidence going against each other. Yeah, that'll be a nice game to watch.
But we should definitely shout out the Corinthians and the fans. And I think they really made a good game. And at times in the game, Arsenal really struggled with Corinthians' counter-attack because they got so comfortable on the ball that their rest defense started to creep a bit higher and higher and higher. And then number 40, her pace was crazy. I didn't even know her name, but I was thinking, wow, this player's fast. And I'm thinking, oh, Lotte and Steph, do you want to really be so high against Corinthians who was comfortable sitting deep? And then one long ball, especially with the left foot of Tamares as a left back or left wing back in that space, I was thinking, whoa, that's going to cause some problems. But it was a dubious penalty. I'm not sure that's a penalty at all. I'm not sure about that.
Well, I mean, Katie McCabe would clearly say that it wasn't. But I think, I'm trying to think, it's 40, is that Johnson? Was it the player that came on? I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. She's another level and she's sort of tricky. And I wonder if Jordan, whether both Manchester City and Arsenal will have looked at that and going into that game this weekend thinking, all right, that's an area they could, particularly after we've already talked about Caroline and what she can do.
100%, that's the way City are going to think. After watching that game, City are thinking, if we can cheat with Caroline a little bit higher, that space. But even on the other side, you've got Lotte Wubben-Moy. So it's no slower. It's like you've just got to make sure that you stay disciplined within your possession because it's easy to fall into a false sense of security when you dominate in possession and you get comfortable against the team and you think, okay, let's step that little bit higher up, keep them in, lock them in, and maybe we can create chances once the ball turns over. But if the ball doesn't turn over, you're running backwards 40 yards against a lot of people that were quick with pace.
Viv's really special at that as well. She's very good at turning on the ball and playing that longer pass. That like when the striker makes a run behind the defender, Viv is a player that finds that pass and they're not easy to see or read. So yeah, that'll be I think that'll be key in their game. How can they find that pass? But they're both teams that like the ball a lot. It'll be battle of the who's good at keeping the ball as well, I think, a little bit, because yeah, it's tough to press that. Do you actually not do a high press against that type of team, because they're good at getting out of that.
But you've got then Alex Green with that left back who can deliver a ball on a sixpence. Her left foot is special. So I think it's just really exciting to see these both teams going up against each other, and then everyone will be saying the midfield battle. City's midfielders, grown in numbers and quality over the last couple of weeks. So no, it'll be really interesting. And then you've got the maestro and Kim Little, who got, player of the match against Corinthians in that final. Her quality's never ending. She's literally just keeps on going.
I love we had Lotte Wubben-Moy with us afterwards, and she had the armband on at the time, but she took it off and she said, "This isn't mine. This is Kimmy's." And she said, she's proper Arsenal. And I thought, absolutely. That's a really interesting one as well, isn't it? Because Leah Williamson was on the bench. I kind of wonder if they were protecting her, whether she comes back. Lotte just slips back in. Her mentality, Jordan, must be another level. She gets put into these games, and then look at with England when she's sitting out of it. But it must be one of those real team players, and that whole proper Arsenal, but she is that, right?
Yeah. Oh no, she's definitely Arsenal. You can see that in the way she plays and how she, comes across as a person. She's devoted to that club, and it's very, very difficult, and it's easy to talk about it. A player that's not playing and maybe not number one when people are fit, but then being needed and just being like, right, play well. It's very, very difficult, and it's easy to watch from the sideline and go, oh, she done well, but mentally, it's not easy to be second choice and then be put in probably as much as Lotte, because I think Lotte's probably one of the most players I've ever seen where it's like you think she's not going to play for a few games, and then someone pulls out, and she's in the starting 11, and it gives a lot of credit to her to have that on her shoulders, and deserving of having that captain's armband. I think when them players aren't on the pitch, Lotte's shown for years now that she's a big part of that club, and it's probably also given her a little bit of confidence. I thought she looked really confident the other day, and it does always give you that extra boost of it's a respectful thing. I think from a club, it's a respectful thing to give players like that the armband when they've been there a while, and yeah, so I thought she was great the other day.
Yeah, she was, and she's represents that club fantastically on and off the pitch. As a human being, she is top. She is a really good human being, and I feel like, for me personally, she deserves everything she gets because she works so hard and she's the ultimate professional. And when you need her, like Jordan said, she's there. And that shows a level of maturity that's beyond their years, like way beyond their years. And I think she should be really proud of wearing that armband because she's put a lot into it. And it's really good to see her consistently performing. Even like Jordan said, when she's not first choice, she comes in, fits in seamlessly, and really helps the squad. She's a good person. Like, she is someone you would want in your squad.
She's the ultimate sort of break glass in case of emergency, and I don't want to do her a disservice then, but there's very rarely players like that in that position as well, because it strikes me it's one of those positions you need that rhythm and consistency, because you're relying so much on who's alongside you as well, that and who's behind you. That kind of three partnership is so key.
The camaraderie and the balance that you need. And it's very difficult as a centre-half partnership to keep changing because you get used to certain people, the way they do things. Do they step in? Do they drop off? Can they read the space? But I think for her, she studies what Leah Williamson and Steph Catley do together, so that when she's ready to step in, it's not hard for Steph. Lotte makes everything easy for Steph, because it's very difficult if you're Steph to have a different partnership. But because Lotte's probably analysed, spoke, stayed within the group, because when when you're not consistently playing, it's very hard to, connect with players, especially as a centre-half partnership, but she seems to do it perfect.
There's a lot of other clubs she'd start at as well.
Yeah.
And it's not like there hasn't been talk every couple of windows whether she will stay because she hasn't had the game time or will she leave. But she's always stayed true to herself. And I think
Yeah.
Lotte is a person that will know when the right time is to leave. She'll feel it within herself, and she's very, very self-aware and very honest. So she will be able to do that for herself.
What's she like as a person? Because I see her her off having coffee, doing the colouring books, the drawing books, cycling. She just seems very, I'm at this state and I will enjoy my life as I see it and do it.
As a human being, I would say she's very meaningful. Everything Lotte does is intentional, and it comes from a place of love and understanding. I remember I went in 2022. We was at the Euros together, and we had to buy an outfit for our partners, and it was me and Lotte, and it just makes me smile because I just think she got me. She understood what the number 17 meant to me. In terms of why I chose that number and why I love it so much. And my background is from my dad's parents are from Trinidad and Tobago. So she got a mum to knit, she got a t-shirt and got a mum to knit the number 17 on the back in the colours of Trinidad and Tobago. And that sums up Lotte. Like, I was just like, you are the most thoughtful person, and you everything is intentional. Like I say, that's just, she's a top human being, really good human being.
Am I alone in thinking, what did you get her?
Let's not go on to that.
How bad did you feel?
Honestly, I felt like I really should have been more intentional. I should have but it just shows me and the conversations we had. She took every single detail of that conversation, and I just think, fair play.
Yeah, you don't want to.
I want to be more like Lotte Wubben-Moy.
That's the t-shirt you should have got. We all want to be more Lotte Wubben-Moy. What about for you, Jordan?
I can't beat that story, really.
Oh.
That was brilliant. No, I think it was like what Keith said earlier. She's just one of a kind. She's someone that's probably hard to describe because she just knows herself so well, but with a caring side to it. And I think that shows in her football as well, the passion. She's a kind soul that, like Keith said, you would want in your squad. Very intelligent, speaks very well as well, which I think is good from such a young age that she speaks like that as well to the group and the team.
Insert soppy music here and love hearts on everyone's eyes. Right, she's going straight into your top three of whatever. We're just putting her up there. But we've discovered you love a top three, even if we're not quite good at working it out. We're recording this at nearly 5:15 on transfer deadline day. Hit me with your top three transfers in this window and why. So it's been a lot. I mean, you could probably pick any one of the Spurs ones. They've had that many. And you can go with the club. It doesn't just have to be a player. Are you both prepared for this one?
I haven't. I'll dip in. I can start with one.
Go on then.
I can go with one.
Go on then.
O'Sullivan for Liverpool. So watching her, I think she's a very good player, and I think how she gets around the pitch, I think sometimes is maybe underestimated. But I think she could be key to that little bit of energy that Liverpool need. I'm obviously talking about, the battle of survival here, but I think she could be a really key signing for them. That's one of mine.
Yeah, I think everyone, when they saw that Denise O'Sullivan was coming, they thought, there's a player that we want to see in the WSL. Where's she going to go? And you're right, it's so key. Actually, all of those clubs down the bottom have reacted in some way to try and keep themselves in it. But I guess Everton really haven't had the level of of input now that they did in the summer. So yeah, Denise O'Sullivan, totally agree with you. Hard agree. Nikita.
Yeah, hard to agree. Well, everyone's going to say this is bias, but I'm going to go for Delphine Cascarino
Oh, fair play.
to London
Yeah, it's
City.
fair.
What a signing. No, for real, what a signing. So much quality. I've obviously played with her at Lyon, so I know how she plays. And I think I'm really excited for her, like I did say previously, to play in the WSL. Because for me, it's the best league in the world. And yeah, I'm waiting for her. Can't wait for her to show her quality, for sure.
I agree.
Good one.
So we've got two.
No, but
It's hard.
Jordan, Denise O'Sullivan, yeah, it's a great one, to be fair. No, it's
Thank
a really
you.
good one.
It's hard because
Really
clubs
good.
have made signings. Like, look at Leicester.
Yeah.
Alicia Lehman, Sarah Malin, Neville. Like,
Rachel Williams,
they're
mad.
Rachel
yeah.
Williams. Yeah, so it's one of them, isn't it? It's like, do you throw them all in? But
Mhm.
I think they're like steady and experienced players. Sometimes when you're, needing to start to win games, you want that kind of like consistent, they've played in this
Knows
league.
the league, yeah.
Yeah, which can be needed.
Given the game this weekend, do you think Smilla Holmberg's been a good signing for Arsenal? Like they've not worried about introducing her, and to have that cover that potentially they would need for Emily Fox, that defensive cover seems great getting forward.
Yeah, I will say that she does look really good going forward for sure. Creating that extra number in attack. Looks like she's got an engine on it. But I will say Emily Fox for me is consistent. She's high level right back. She's done really well for Arsenal for her time there. So it's going to be tough competition for sure. But when you're young and you want to be the best, you want to play and compete against the best. And sometimes that's against, or sometimes that's with, and in training, and you've got to produce a new level in order to compete in. But she'll get game time at Arsenal for sure. There's that many games and in that many competitions. So when you get your game time, you have to take your chance for sure. But one other signing that I think is a really good loan deal is Hamano from Chelsea to Tottenham.
Did you go, why have they let her go? Like, I get for her, she needs to get minutes, and we don't have to get into the politics of this. But you're right, for her to go to... And also what I said about 5 hours ago, about the fact that Spurs could go above Chelsea in the league, Hamano could be huge. And Spurs have brought in some good players.
Yeah, they have. But I think she's a really top player. For a young player, her skill set, if she can develop it and get more game time and more confidence, I think she can have a real impact in this league no matter what team she plays in. Whether it's Chelsea or she moves on to another team within the WSL or within Europe, I think she's going to be a great player. A really good player.
There's no way Chelsea would let her play against them this weekend, but so I wonder how much they'll miss her. But when you think I think Signe Gobset getting her early was really good business. Blackstad, Nilden, who else have they brought in? They've improved areas around the pitch, so I think that game will be closer than potentially it's been in the past as well. Those two up against each other. So we're going for Cascarino top, Denise Sullivan.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're asking us to
Yeah.
list it? I thought we just was naming three.
All right, well, let's just
No,
name three
in order.
players. I'll put Denise O'Sullivan top. I'll put Cascarino second. And Hamano third. I'll do it for you. Consider it done.
Wait, does Jordan even agree with Hamano? I just said what I think.
No, yeah,
we
no.
might have a fourth.
Yeah, no, she can be top 3.
All right.
Nice.
We'll go like I said, we like doing the top threes, but we've just got no idea how to do it. It works every time.
it's
No,
too hard to blend.
it's gone.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of the season we'll talk about them and
End season, we're going to ask the best goal, top goal. No.
All right, I'm sorry for being dull.
Trying to think.
Will we also talk about Katie McCabe leaving Arsenal at the end of the season? Potentially. We're not talking about that now. Is anyone going to... I'm looking for reaction off you both. Nikita takes a drink. Jordan makes no expression. Anyone want to discuss if she might go? That's it from this week's Pitch to Pod. Thank you both. Saturday, Leicester against Manchester United is on Sky Sports Premier League from 11:30. All the 12 o'clock kickoffs on Sunday will be available on Sky Showcase, Sky Sports Plus. Newcastle, you're off to Southampton this weekend. Are you leaving today? When are you going?
For real?
Yeah.
Thursday night.
No, we leave on Saturday.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, long one.
Yeah, but night out in South... I mean, clearly you wouldn't have a night out. Do you ever go like... No, but when you get there, you want to go for a walk, don't you, through the town to shake off some of the... No, straight to the hotel.
No.
To
Yeah.
bed. Do you want to...
Yeah. Not a 9 o'clock walk
Oh,
at night.
yeah, don't do that. I'm sure it'll be fine and plenty safe, but no, yeah. Straight into bed, watch a bit of telly, nice and relaxed. I've just told you what you're doing. Good. If you've got a question for Nikita or Jordan, you can get in touch, use the hashtag #PitchToPod. Who knows, they could be answering it on this show. I'm off to do myself Lotte Wubben-Moy. She is the answer to whatever the question is, t-shirt or something like that. And maybe, Nikita, you can re-gift. Bye, everyone.